And we are on air.
Hi guys, my name's Brianna, and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys some Taylor Swift Midnight's tattoo ideas. So let's get right into the video. So if you didn't see my video yesterday, I would go check that out first. This is part 2 of this video. So I talked about the first half of the album and my tattoo ideas based on the songs yesterday, and then today we're going to be going over the second half of the album and the bonus track. And again, just a few prefaces that I spoke about last time, I'll let you know again. This is not any lyrics I suggest you get tattooed. These are all concept ideas, visual tattoos, not just words. So if I said tattoos based off lyrics I think are cool to get, this would be a much longer video, but I think you know for yourself if you connect with lyric or not. Whereas you might not think of a concept for a tattoo and then hear about it, really like it, and then get it. So that's what this video is for. So jumping into it, we left off with the next song being Karma. So something I was thinking about, because I was like, the obvious thing is to just get a cat because Karma is a cat. But I was thinking about it, the lyric together is sweet like honey, Karma is a cat, purring in my lap cause it loves me, flexing like a goddamn acrobat. So I thought, well, what if you put all of that together? I think it would be a really funny tattoo, and people who don't know Taylor Swift will laugh and like it and then ask where it came from, and then you could tell more people about Taylor Swift. So I'm thinking a cat on a tightrope, like acrobatics, with its mouth up and open, like with honey dripping down into the cat's mouth. So cat eating honey while doing acrobatics. I just think that is hysterical and an amazing tattoo, and I really hope someone gets it because I want to see that. Then another thing I was thinking about is she said, my pennies made your crown, which I know is a reference to the money that she makes is helping other people get power and status and all that fun stuff. But I was thinking, what about a literal crown made out of pennies for a tattoo? Could be fun too. And then I was also thinking about how in the start of the song she's talking about how this other person's at top and doesn't want to look down, and at the end of the song she's talking about how Karma helps bring all her friends to the summit, whereas the person in the beginning was doing something bad to people to get there. So I was thinking about maybe a mountain with silhouettes of like yourself and your friends at the top. I thought that could be cute too, because it's like you and your friends all made it to the top of the summit. Those are all my ideas for Karma, so let's go to the next song. Next is Sweet Nothing, and Sweet Nothing is a really sweet song, but there's not much visuals to it. A lot of it is kind of like what I would say if you were just going to get lyric tattoos, but I did have one idea for it. So she says, tiny as a firefly, a pebble that we picked up last July. So I'm thinking, what if the body of it is a pebble, but it has wings like a firefly, so a firefly pebble. I think that could be really cute and sweet. And then next is Mastermind, and the lyric that stuck out to me right away for a tattoo idea was, and the touch of a hand lit the fuse. So I'm thinking two hands reaching out for each other, and right where they touch there's like sparks or fire or a flame or something like that. I thought that would be cute. And then the obvious, just having dominoes falling, doesn't necessarily call back to this song to someone who doesn't know the music. Dominoes are like a common thing, but there's a lyric in there that it fits too. And then also something more just basic is to do a sailboat with wind blowing, because she says that she's the wind in the sails, in the free-flowing sails. Next is The Great War, which has a lot of imagery in it, so I picked the ones that I thought would work the best for tattoos, but I'm sure you could come up with a lot more ideas for this one. So right out the gate, the song says, my knuckles were bruised like violets. So I'm thinking a fist, like a punching fist, with bruises all over it, but in between the knuckles and the fingers have literal violets coming up out of the fist. I just think that would look so cool, just have flowers coming out of the fist and it's violets. And then another thing she says in the song is drink my poison all alone. So I'm thinking like a cup or a glass of poison, or a person holding a cup of poison drinking it. Something along those lines would be cool too. And then just encompassing the whole song, another thing like Mastermind, I'm thinking hands reaching out for each other, but instead of actually touching, I'm thinking them just reaching for each other, and in between and in the background, like smaller so it looks like it's in the distance, you have like bombs and stuff going off, because she talks talks about the bombs getting closer and all that, and they're reaching for each other. I think that would be a cool tattoo too. And the last idea I had was maybe from the back of someone, so you don't have a face and it can be a more abstract tattoo. Have like hair flowing with like a single poppy in the hair would be really beautiful too. The next is Bigger Than the Whole Sky, and this song is really heartbreaking and there's a lot to it, but there's not that much specific imagery. So the best thing I thought was to have like the continent Asia, and then above the continent you have like a bird flapping its wings or like flying over Asia, because that's "Did some bird flap its wings over in Asia" is a lyric from there. I didn't really have a super personal connection with the song though, so it was hard for me to come up with some good tattoos for this one, but I tried my best. Then next we have Paris, which again, there's a lot of basic imagery you could go there with just the idea of Paris. I tried to stay a little further away from those basic ideas and came up with some ideas of my own. However, the first one is a little basic, to literally just have a map on a ceiling. But the next one I thought was pretty cool. She says, "Cheap wine, make believe it's champagne." So I'm thinking 2 champagne flutes with wine in them. So this would have to be a colored tattoo so you can tell that it's wine. I think that would be a really fun callback to this song. Then of course 2 people sitting under a tree in the shade, which I think is so fun, but if you want to incorporate it with other songs, she talks about shade a lot in her songs, and in this she specifies not the kind that's thrown, the kind under where a tree has grown. That's why you would have it with a tree. But I'm also thinking about calling back to other songs where she talks about throwing shade and things like that. You might want to incorporate a tattoo with linking them both. For me, my idea was, and shade never made anybody less gay, so maybe the shade is also casting a rainbow. I don't know, it's like the shade of the tree is protecting them and the shade is not making them less gay. I don't know, I thought that was a fun idea too if you're queer. The next one is where she talks about confessing her truth in swooping, sloping cursive letters. Now, that line is not specific to what she means by the swooping, sloping cursive letters. She might literally mean writing it out, but to me, I visualize that as like in the sky, like airplane writing letters, like when people get like "marry me" in the sky and stuff like that. So I'm thinking of a tattoo that literally says "my truth" with a plane flying off at the end. I think that could be really cool. And next is High Infidelity, and the first thing I was thinking of was when she says, "Put in your headphones and burn my city." I'm thinking of a cityscape with flames all over it and music notes surrounding it. I think that would be perfect. Then I'm thinking of like a dagger where the blade is a piece of a fence, because she says your picket fence is sharp as knives, and I think that would be a really cool tattoo, and I know that daggers are a popular tattoo to get, so that's a fun spin on a popular tattoo. And then I was also thinking of like an eye or a set of eyes with stars in them or constellations in them would be really cool too. Then we have glitch, and I'll just state the obvious on this one. Literally draw a glitch, like a TV glitch or something like that, a non-specific glitch for a tattoo. Then she says, 5 seconds later, I'm fastening myself to you with a stitch. So this one is a little bit more gruesome, but some people like those kind of ideas, so I'm thinking of literally 2 people next to each other literally sewing themselves together. Not the common vibe for tattoos, but I think that could be a really cool tattoo if you have a darker theme to your tattoos. And then, of course, another kind of basic one, I talk about night skies a lot because she talks about night skies a lot in the album, so it translates to tattoos, but this time I'm thinking of a night sky scene with a blood moon. Maybe the whole scene is in black and white, but then the moon is in color for a blood moon. That could be pretty cool. And then another lyric I was thinking about was when she says, "In search of glorious happenings of happenstance in someone else's playground." So I'm thinking 2 people happy playing around on a playground, like another scene that we're looking at, and that's kind of fun because it seems so happy and whatever to everybody else, but the person who has the tattoo knows that the meaning of it is that they're not supposed to be on that playground. It's someone else's playground. Then next is would've, could've, should've. First one I was thinking is to literally have a grown man with paint splattering across him, but I don't know how people would feel about that one. But then next I was thinking of 2 people. One maybe is a silhouette, not so much detail, but the other one would be the devil, because she says, "Damn sure never would've danced with the devil." So have someone literally dancing with the devil. Another thing is when she says, "And then you tried to erase us." So I'm thinking a like sketch drawing of 2 people with like eraser marks across it, like someone's trying to erase it but they haven't quite gotten it. Another one I was thinking about was when she says, "Stained glass windows in my mind." mind. So I'm thinking of another, making it more literal, a brain with stained glass throughout the brain, or maybe a brain made out of stained glass. Then next is Dear Reader, and these are kind of just blatantly taken from the lyrics. Not too much creative spin here. I feel like she kind of told it how it was. So the first one, if it feels like a trap, you're already in one. I'm thinking a person in a literal trap, like a physical trap, like an animal trap out in the forest. And of course it's more metaphorical, but for the tattoo you can have like a person in like a literal trap. Then later on she says, burn all the files, desert all your past lives. So again, I'm thinking pretty literal here. Files being burnt, flames, with a person running away. And this is again something where you can have it very cartoon or very detailed. You could change it however your style is. Then she says, bend when you can, snap when you have to. And here I'm thinking of like cartoon type vibes, where you have a person, one, doing a back bend, and then right next to them you have another person who looks like they tried to do a back bend, but they're snapped in half. Then she says, you should find another guiding light, but I shine so bright. So here I'm just thinking of like a lantern, like a guiding light, and maybe someone following it. So now moving on to the bonus track, Hits Different. The first thing is a very literal one, but I feel like some people might find it funny, and depending on your humor is whether I think you would get this as a tattoo or not. So she says in the song, I pictured you with other girls in love, then threw up in the street. So I'm thinking a girl hunched over throwing up with hearts all around her. Then another thing she says is, the sun burns my heart and the sand hurts my feelings. So I'm thinking of a heart with the sun shining down on it, setting the heart on fire. And then for the sand hurts my feelings, this one is a little bit more basic and people might not associate it with this song, but I'm just thinking of like surrounded by sand, a girl crying. And then going towards the end of the song, I could still melt your world, argumentative, antithetical dream girl. Here I'm thinking of literally the world melting, like the world, a globe or something, looking like it's like falling apart and melting, and then like around it to say like argumentative, antithetical dream girl. So this is like the second time I think I've actually incorporated actual lyrics in the tattoo idea, but I think it would fit really well. And just to toss in there some Midnight's general theme ideas is to get a clock, get the number 12, get the word midnight, get a tattoo that says meet me at midnight, those kinds of things too. But that was pretty much all of my ideas. Comment down below which ones you liked, which ones you didn't like, which ones you would get, and if you have any more tattoo ideas or anything like that, or if you get any of these tattoos. But yeah, for now that's it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Happy VEDIN, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Mwah!